Hello. So, today I want to talk about something that I realized through a book. If you're wondering why I'm wearing this hat, it's because I haven't done anything with my hair and I don't plan to, so I just decided to wear a hat. But recently I read a book called Openly Straight, and it's basically about this kid who goes to an all-boys boarding school. So at one part of it, one of the students ends up leaving the school because of his depression. Some of the teachers decided to talk about this to his class, and he said, "This kid's the only black kid in the whole grade. Do you think that this had something to do with it?" So the kids said, "Well, we're a very tolerant group of people. We're a very accepting school." The teacher pointed out that the words tolerance and acceptance were not the right words to use, because these implied something. These implied that something was wrong with him because of his race, and it needed to be accepted, it needed to be tolerated. And the exact definitions, which I have Google up on my phone, because I have no idea how to edit in a internet window, and it probably cost money to get the thing, and but the exact meaning of acceptance is the action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered, or the action or process of being received as adequate or suitable, typically being admitted into a group. This basically means that we're very accepting. We're saying that he's adequate, that he's suitable. And while it sounds okay, that's entirely based on his race. And then the meaning for tolerance is the ability or willingness to tolerate something, in particular the existence of opinions or behavior that one does not necessarily agree with. An allowable amount of variation of a specified quantity, especially in the dimensions of a machine or part. This also means the ability or willingness to tolerate something. Well, tolerate. And in particular, the existence of opinions or behavior that one does not necessarily agree with. That basically means that while his race might not have been agreed with, they tolerated it. Tolerance. And the thing about that is, acceptance and tolerance. We usually say, well, we accept this, we tolerate that. And that's not exactly the right words to use. In this, the teacher said that they were accepting his race, they were tolerating his race, and that wasn't exactly what they needed to do. There was nothing to accept, there was nothing to tolerate. It just was. That's how it was. It's not something that needs to be accepted or tolerated. It just is, and that's how it should be. We shouldn't have to say we accept this. We shouldn't have to say we tolerate this, because it should just be. It should just be considered something normal that we go along with. Like, the kid wears a red shirt. You don't accept that he wears a red shirt. You don't tolerate that he wears a red shirt. He wears a red shirt. That's just how it is. I mean, if you hate the color red, you might just be like, I'm gonna tolerate this, but normally that's just how it is. I'm wearing a hat right now. You don't have to say that you accept it. You don't have to say you're gonna have to tolerate it. I'm just wearing a hat. That's just how it is. And that was what he was saying about it. So we usually say, we accept this, we tolerate that. But the question is it something that needs to be accepted? Is it something that needs to be tolerated? Or is it something that just is, and we just need to go along with the fact that it just is? Now, of course, some things do need to be tolerated, some things do need to be accepted. Sometimes we need to use those words to be able to get people to go along with it, to accept that it just is. But that doesn't mean that it needs to be accepted, that it needs to be tolerated. just means that it is. And I think that with that, I know I did a thing on the power of words, but I want to do this specifically because we need to learn exactly what our words mean, exactly what we're saying, because very often we don't realize what we're saying. That one kid saying that they were very tolerant of his race meant that it needed to be tolerated, that there was something wrong with it. Saying that they were accepting meant that there was something that needed to be accepted. It couldn't just be. They would have never said, well, we're accepting of... They would have never said that they had to be accepting of white people. They need to be tolerant of white people, because it just is. And that's the same way it should have been no matter what his race was. And if you want to see exactly what happens with that kid, just read the book, Openly Straight. And with that, acceptance and tolerance. Just think about, does something really need to be accepted or to be tolerated, or is it just that? I mean, you could tolerate someone doing drugs. You can tolerate someone eating unhealthy. You can accept that someone eats unhealthily to the point where it hurts them, not just like a whatever, they're eating unhealthy. You can do that. But we shouldn't have to say we accept the way a person is that they can't control. We shouldn't have to say that we'll tolerate the way a person is that they can't control. Unless they're extremely annoying and you have to tolerate them. But just think about what the word exactly means. What it implies. And that's kind of just what that teacher was saying. Some things we shouldn't have to accept. We shouldn't have to tolerate. We should just understand that it is. And that should be it. Well, on that note,